Table 88-45 is meant to be a boxed table that would have been the enclosure for the letter that you just typed. It is the rotation plan mentioned in that letter. You will need to make corrections and key the table on page 338. See the reference manual, page 13 for formatting, and page 14 for proofreader's marks. Remember to type all dates in the day, month, year format. Now, as in step 1, we're going to set the paper size to A4. Page Layout tab, Size command, and A4. Then we're going to insert a box table with 3 columns and 7 rows. So go to the Insert tab, insert a table. Let's draw it this time. 1, 2, 3 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. Next, remember to select the whole table and change the font size to 12. Then select the first row and merge the cells. Then turn on your caps lock key, center, Control E, and Control B for bold, and type the title in all caps. Hit enter once, type the subtitle, take caps lock off, hit enter once for that blank line in the title block. Then go back to rotation plan the title and change it to 14 point. With the exception of the title, everything else in the table should be in a 12-point font. Next, we're going to type the column headings. So I'm going to select that whole row, use the bold command so that I only have to apply it once. Also, we're going to be centering all of these column headings, so we can do that with one command also. All of the remaining text in the data cells will be left aligned and at 12 points. Now, just as a review to make sure that you understand the proofreading marks, in row 1 of the data column, you were to transpose August and 11 in the date cell. In row 2, you were to capitalize the A in assembly. In row 3, you were to delete the word "and" between drive and assembly, and spell out September. And in the final row, you were to spell out the ampersand as and reverse the letters to correctly spell February. Now we're ready for step 9. We're going to apply 25% shading to the column heading cells or row. First, you select that row. Notice my white arrow in the left margin. If I click once, I select that entire row. Then we're going to go to the shading command in the table tools. 25% is going to show up as a tool tap. Here we have 5%, 15, 25%. Now you'll notice that some of the other color options are also at 25%. Gray is usually assumed, but I will not count off if you choose to apply a color at 25%. All right, the next step is to autofit to contents. So I'm going to right-click in my table, move to autofit, and autofit to contents. Then we have step 11 to center the table horizontally and vertically. To center horizontally, select the whole table with the table move handle. We go to the Table Tools Layout tab, select Properties. Then in this window, under Alignment, we click Center and OK. While it is still selected, we'll move to the Page Layout tab. Open the Page Setup dialog box launcher. Move to the Layout tab, and then under Page Vertical Alignment, choose Center and OK. That moves the table down to the center of the page vertically. And now, if your table looks similar to this one, you can return to GDP, score, review, and correct all of your errors to 0. I find that I have an error on this table as I showed it to you, and if you used the current year for all of your dates as I did, you will have this error show up as well. The last date, in order to make sense in the calendar year that this schedule plan is looking at, is going from the 18th of December 2010 to February. It's going to have to be of the following year. So we're going to need to correct that date to 2011 in order for GDP to count this as correct. So now that I've made this correction, I'm going to close my top proofreading window and then return to GDP, save the changes, score, review, and now I have 0 errors.